العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So today, inshallah, we're going to be talking about, I guess they're all unseen pillars, right? So what are the 6 pillars? Who can remind us of Iman? If we don't know this, we have bigger problems. To believe in, number one's easy. It's one of them, it's not number 1 though. Before the angels, believing in Allah, good. Believing in Allah, and now we're going to be talking about believing in His angels. What else? Kutubihi wa rasulihi, good. Wal yawm al-akhir. And the last? Wal qadr. Okay, so all of these things, what do they have in common? They're all unseen. Are there other elements of the religion that are unseen but wouldn't be part of these 6 pillars? Shaitan. So shaitan is a larger part of the jinn, yes? Why aren't the jinn a pillar?
They're Allah's creation that will also be held accountable.
Okay. Might be able to argue that with the angels, but we'll get back to it. Yes?
You're not supposed to believe in them?
You're not supposed to believe in jinn?
You're not supposed to,
That's a new one.
them.
You're not supposed to listen to them?
Yeah.
Okay. Are the jinn purely unseen? No. Meaning that they do interact from time to time with mankind. This can also hold true for the angels, but it's usually very unique to the prophets or the people around the prophets. That's one thing I can think of. What if somebody's like, okay, well, what about paradise and hellfire? Those are unseen too. Do I have to believe in those? Or here, would those be pillars to believe in? Yes or no, and why?
I think it counts. I mean, to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to believe in,
In the jinn?
in the jinn and everything.
In everything?
Honestly, yeah.
Have you guys ever heard people who say, oh, jinn are just actually whispers, like internal whispers? Right, they're not actual beings? Would that take someone outside the fold of Islam? No, okay. What if somebody said like paradise and hellfire are allegorical places? Would we give them the same benefit of the doubt? And why or why not?
No, these are mentioned in the Quran.
Okay. These things are clearly mentioned in the Quran. And this would fall under what? Kutubihi, right? In his books. So the books and everything that's mentioned in them, and the things that are mentioned very clearly. I think there are certain things that are mentioned in the Quran that you might be able to take away as you can get away, not in the sense that this is what we believe, but you can get away in the sense that, okay, hey, this is something that could be taken as an allegory, meaning that if somebody does, they're still Muslim, but they're not following mainstream Islam. Does that make sense? So today we're going to be talking about the angels. The angels obviously is not the only unseen pillar. There are other unseen pillars. None of us have met, unfortunately, a prophet or a messenger, so it's something that would be unseen for us. And but this is something that is very important. Okay, there we go. And I think the discussion today, a lot of things that I want to focus on is like, okay, well, what are angels? Why are they core to our faith? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create them? So I think the first discussion and the first thing that I want to have over here is الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. That those who believe in the unseen keep up the prayer and give out of what we have provided for them. Faith begins with the ghaib, right? Faith begins with this idea of believing in the unseen. And the other 2 things that are mentioned here, these are pillars of our religion, these are pillars of Islam. These are the things that we have to practice and things that we implement in our lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also tells us, أن تؤمن بالله this is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, أن تؤمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر وتؤمن بالقدر خيره وشره, to believe Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, the last day, and that you believe in destiny is probably not a good translation, but I would say pre-decree. Both it's good and it's bad. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim. So what is the purpose of this pillar, and what will we spend time and discuss on today? So there are three reasons that I would say I believe are important to study angels. This is not meant to be an exhaustive list by any means. So if there are other reasons that you would like to bring up or discuss, I'm open to it. First is the epistemological reason that they're the ones who deliver revelation. Like, why is this so important? Why are they an important part of our faith? Because revelation doesn't come directly to the prophets and messengers. There is an intermediary, and who is that intermediary? The intermediary is an angel. We can talk about, is it exclusively Jibreel alayhi salam, or can it be other angels? Inshallah, that is something that is definitely worthy of discussion. But it's important to understand this, that the only way for us to actually know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's books, to know His commands, were because of these intermediaries that exist. The other thing that's important, like morally, their obedience defines a purity and a discipline that is, in one way, that we strive for, right? It's really important for us to understand, like, we view angels as these holy beings, and there is a moral standard that's there. There's a reason that they're the ones who record our deeds and not us holding them accountable, right? So there are certain things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has delegated to them to do, and it gives us an idea of the type of beings that they are. Also spiritually, having this awareness of them, it helps refine modesty, because if we know that there are these beings that are around us, it helps us be more modest. And we can talk about what modesty is, inshallah, and maybe at another time, but it is a very broad topic and it is a very broad subject. A lot of times we'll limit modesty to this, right? But this is just part of modesty and this expression of it. It should not be limited to what we wear. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all powerful, why involve angels at all? Like, why are they a necessary part of the equation? What do you guys think? Why not? Why couldn't it just be Allah and then Prophet?
I guess the belief, like, you know,
So adding a layer of belief?
yeah.
Okay, that's definitely possible. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to add a layer of belief. And we can talk about why. Like, okay, there are many layers He could have added. Why this specifically? Anyone else? Or you guys never really thought about this question? We just kind of take them for granted, like they exist, they're there, you know what I mean? They're good. Like, they don't hurt us. Yes?
It adds to Allah's majesty.
Okay, in what way? I agree 100%, but what way?
Kind of how, like, when a king summons.
Brothers and sisters, if you have a gray Honda Civic, license plate THY 1348, please attend to your vehicle. Someone's waiting for you there. Someone hit your car.
Okay. No? It doesn't look like it's anybody here, alhamdulillah. So a level of majesty in the sense that for every king or any person, for at least in terms of our the way we structure society, if you have a person in power, you have an individual in power, they always have. Did everybody get that? A gray Honda Civic? All right. We need a little bit more information. But so this idea of, you know, when you have a person in a position of nobility, they will always have trusted people near them to carry out their orders, and it creates a layer of distance between the individual and the subjects. What else?
I thought we're not allowed to see them. We're
Okay. So this goes back to the majesty, right? Like, we physically cannot have access to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, 100%. Not only can we not physically have access to Him, we actually don't have the ability to really encompass Him, Azza wa Jal. What group of people asked to see Allah? Yes?
70 men that went with Musa alayhi salam to
From where? Who are those people?
their Banu Israel.
They're Bani Israel, right? So Bani Israel or the Jews, they had asked to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They said, okay, if your Lord is real, then we want to see Him. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He showed some of His majesty, not Himself, but when He showed some of His majesty, what happened to them? They all died. Right? They all died, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought them back to life. And this is one of the reasons the scholars say on Yawm al-Qiyamah, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that when we are all arise from our deaths, right? So when Yawm al-Qiyamah starts, when we arise from our death, he said, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to see Musa hanging on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's throne. And he's saying, I don't know how long he's been awake. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just woke up and I saw him doing this. I don't know how long he's been awake. And some of the scholars say, because Musa alayhi salam actually experienced some of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's majesty in this world, this is why he was quicker to awaken in the next. And Allah knows best. So why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create angels? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, Allah yastafi min al-malaikati rusulam wa min al-nas. That Allah chooses messengers from among the angels and from among human beings. Meaning that even amongst angels, there are what? There are grades, right? There are grades and that there are levels. Not just like every person isn't the same, every angel isn't the same, right? Some have higher ranks and some have lesser ranks. So why angels? There is a divine wisdom in creating them for sure. Some of those wisdoms can include this idea of having order. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates the structure, it's important to have order within that structure. So the angels, they manifest Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's perfect system and the precision that's involved in that. And there is a very specific type of being Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to use. I won't say needed, because He Azza wa Jal, He doesn't need anything. So what He wanted is He wanted beings that were capable of carrying out those perfect systems, knowing that mankind and jinn have what? They have shortcomings that they actually wouldn't be able to carry out those things with the same type of precision. The fact that they're obedient. Can angels disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No, right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, مَا يَعْصُونَ اللَّهَ مَا أَمَرَهُمْ, that they do not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whatever He orders them and whatever He tells them to do. Does this mean that they're not capable of sin? There's difference of opinion. Some scholars say they are, some scholars say they're not. And part of the reason for that is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created Adam alayhi salam, what happened? What is the first thing the angels did?
They question why.
All right, they question why. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, like as He's narrating the story to us, He says that I know ma kuntum tubdun wa ma kuntum taktufun. That I know what you're showing and what you're hiding. He's talking to the angels here. What are they hiding and what are they showing?
Obedience. They're showing obedience.
They're showing obedience. They're hiding. There's a resentment and a jealousy that they're hiding in their hearts. Meaning that even if there's a capability that's there, that actually doesn't manifest. And everything that they do is complete obedience to Him Azza wa Jal. The other thing is having intermediaries. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to create this system because of it's important to have that intermediary, because it creates that majesty and it creates that division from us to Him, right? So that we don't have direct access. It also, this diversity in creation, this is something that's really important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created us from what material? From teen, from like mud or clay. He created jinn from fire, right? Right, a smokeless fire, right? There's no smoke to it. And then He created angels from light, right? So it's important to have these different type of creations. It's a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? They serve different purposes, and none of those purposes are ever meant to be hurtful to humans, right? They're only meant to be supportive. Also, this idea of awareness, so that it increases our awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and understanding that there are these beings that were always ready to hold us accountable. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, كُلٌّ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَمَلَائِكَتِهِ وَكُتُبِهِ وَرُسُولِهِ, and all believe in Allah, His angels, His scriptures, and the messengers. So there, not only do we find this in the hadith, but there is a Quranic foundation for this belief. The nature of the angels we had mentioned, we had spoken about before, is لَا يَعْصُونَ اللَّهَ مَا أَمَرَهُمْ وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ, that they never disobey Allah in what He commands them and do exactly what they are commanded. In their creation and form, like we had said in the hadith Sahih Muslim, that the angels were created from light and the jinn from smokeless fire, and Adam alayhi salam from what has been described to you. Yani meaning that there are different verses in the Quran that talk about the Adam and talk about the angels. These are some of the things and some of the functions that they have. Jibreel alayhi salam, he was revealed for revelation, for strength. The reason that I mentioned this is that he is one of the participants of Badr, right? So he actually was one of the ones who was actively fought in Badr. Mikael alayhi salam, he is known to, not so sustenance, he's basically in charge of like the nabat, right? He's in charge of the, plants. Right? He's in charge of the plants and he's in charge of the rain. Israfil, he's in charge of blowing the trumpet. Israel, there's a lot of weak hadith that talk about that this being his name, but this is Malik al-Maut, or the angel of death. He very commonly is unnamed and he's known as Malik al-Maut, or the angel of death. He's responsible for taking souls. Munkar and Nakir, they do the questioning in the grave. Kiram and Katibin, these are the ones who are known for recording deeds. And Hafala, these are the ones that protect the angels. So you guys have heard like guardian angels, right? There are actually angels who are assigned for this, that they protect mankind. The other ones that aren't mentioned here, you guys know Ridwan? Ridwan, he is the Khazin Jahannam, right? So he's basically the gatekeeper of the hellfire. He's known to be a very stern angel because he's in charge of the hellfire. Any other angels that we missed out?
The 19th for the...
Hamalat al-Arsh, right? So there are 8 angels that hold the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The ones who are at the gates of paradise, the ones who are at the gate of hellfire, right? These are all different angels. Yes?
Malik.
Malik. Yeah, Malik is the... He was for Jahannam. Well, Ridwan, I swapped them? Okay, I know. Ridwan is for paradise and Malik is for Jahannam. Jazakallah khair. Any other angels?
The 19th for Jahannam.
Yeah. Yeah.
19...
There are 19 for each gate of
Yes.
Jahannam, yes. Any other angels? Or did we cover most of them?
Can I ask something just real quick on what you said, please? You said they're jealous of us. What part of us are they jealous?
Because Allah, basically, they saw themselves as, yani, we're the ones who worship you. We're the ones who do tasbih of you. We're the ones nuqaddisu lak. Like, we're the ones that honor you. What do you need another creation for? Right? Think about it. If you have these beings, all they do is tasbih. All they do is tahmeed. All they do is taqdees of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're like, wait, what? Oh, you you feel a certain way. You're like, what the? Like, I do all this stuff. Like, I'm doing all the stuff that you asked, and I'm constantly in worship of you. They go to Bayt al-Ma'mur, right? They go, which is the equivalent of the Kaaba in paradise. They say that every day 70,000 angels enter, nobody exits. Yani meaning that they're just constantly making tawaf. There's not a handspan between the heavens and the earth, where the Prophet ﷺ, he said, except that there's an angel making sajda in that space. So you have all of these descriptions of the angels and all of the ibadah and all of the worship that they're doing. So now they see this creation, they're like, well, what's going on? Because the only other creation that they saw before were the jinn. And what did they see from the jinn?
Only facade.
It's like, yo, these guys, all they do is like, they fight and they kill each other. And like, it's like, we're, right? Immediate, what's your immediate thought going to be? You're like, yo, we're better. Like, we're better. Like, what are you making another creation for? And that's why they would be sad and upset. And then even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He could have just told them like, nah, He's better. Yes or no? What does Allah do to show them? They said ask. No, not just prostrate. Right? He told them to prostrate. He's like, yo, listen, you need to recognize. And He still knew that they what? That they were feeling some kind of way. So what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do? He said, ask him any questions.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Find out.
Right, find out. The angels, when they started asking him questions, some of the Mufassirin say that even Adam alayhi salam, he told them their names and they didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't even aware of their personal names. And he was just walking around, he's like, yeah, that's a chair, and that's a tree, and that's an apple, and those are grapes, right? Like, and they're just like, oh dang. Like, he opened up a completely different world for them that they didn't even know was there. They just took everything for granted, that, all this stuff is here. Our sole purpose is to what? To worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. Like, it was very Allah-centric. And then they have this being who's coming in, they're like, man, what is this? And all of a sudden he starts talking and they're like, oh man. Like, you know what I mean? Immediately they felt what? They felt humbled. Immediately. And then that's what helped them understand. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he could have just told them. He could have been like, oh, well, he knows everything and he knows your names and he knows the names, all this stuff. He's like, he like showed Adam off. Right? He's like, huh, Adam, show them. Right? He's like, show them. And Adam, he did. Right? He showed them. And then after that, they're like, khalas. we get it. Ya Allah, you know, we understand. Yes.
So, like when angels pray, okay?
Mhm.
So aren't angels like they don't read and Quran and write, right?
No, they do. They can read.
But
Writing, I don't know.
I
Yes, no, they write because they're kiram and katibin. Yani they're the ones who record our deeds.
I heard that, like, for example, when you pray,
Mhm.
all the angels listen to you because they can't heard that too.
So the angels don't have creativity. That 100%.
They're
And-
listening to you now. They're
I'm sorry,
recording.
huh? It's okay. Look, I'm already better. Allah told me.
Watch out.
Allah allows us into His paradise. I mean, but and the reason I say that is because there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he ﷺ, he came up from ruku' and he was like, Sami Allahu liman hamida. And one of the companions behind him, he said, Allahumma rabbana wa lakal hamd, hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fi. And this is not something the Prophet ﷺ had taught him. And after Salah was over, he saw something, he turned around, he's like, who said that? And he said, yeah, I did, Ya Rasulullah. He said, Wallahi, I saw angels descending and coming and writing down what you had said.
Oh.
So they know how to write,
Yeah.
but they don't have what? They don't have the creativity. They worship in the way that they are told to worship. So maybe that's what's intended, but this idea that they don't know how to read and write, no, I don't think so, because they're the scribes. You know, when things need to be done, when deeds need to be recorded, like they're the ones who do those things. So I don't think that in itself is an issue. But I think, like I said, Wallahu alam, there's a knowledge gap between mankind and angels, and that knowledge gap is this idea of how we can creatively worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah knows best. Like, I think in humankind and mankind, like mankind can do ijtihad. Like we can study, we can come up with solutions. Like, you know, we have those creative faculties, and I don't believe angels have those creative faculties. Because one of the reasons is, all right, well, how do I know that? Well, why didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach them the names of everything? Because they didn't need it. Like even once they had that information, what did they do with it? They didn't do anything, right? It didn't change their worship. They just like, oh, we're going to keep worshiping the way that we did before. And when they see mankind or they see humans doing these things, they're like, wow, that's pretty, yeah. Like, wow, that's pretty cool. Or like, that's pretty neat. Like, oh, we didn't know you could do it like that. I think that creative faculty is the main thing that differentiates us from angels. And Allah knows best. Anything else? No?
But they are more powerful than us.
Yes. So like in terms of like physical strength, in terms of physical size, like when the Prophet ﷺ, he saw Jibreel alayhi salam in his true form twice, right? And he said, I looked up and I saw what? I saw him filling the sky, right? Like the entirety of the sky was full of his angels, of his wings. So like they're huge, they're huge beings. Have you guys ever read like biblical descriptions of angels? Read them. They're like really scary. Like it's like really, this is like really weird. It's really weird. But like do a Google search for like biblically accurate angels. Like just make that your Google search. They're so weird. I'm telling you, they're so weird. But they're actually terrifying. Like when you hear some of the descriptions and some of the images that they actually draw, versus how we describe angels is like they're angelic, right? They're angelic, they're beautiful, they're magnificent, they're majestic, they're made from light, right? So you have a lot of these beautiful descriptions of them. Even when they take human form, what forms do they take?
The best.
Right, they take the most attractive, most handsome forms. Even Jibreel alayhi salam, when he used to descend in the form of Dihya al-Kalbi. And why? Dihya was known to be a very handsome man. And sometimes the companions would be like, oh yeah, we saw Dihya, and Dihya was like, I wasn't there, like that wasn't me. And then the Prophet ﷺ tells him, he's like, no, that was Jibreel. That was Jibreel, and he had taken his form. So why do angels matter to us? So we understand where they're coming from, we understand their nature, we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has delegated certain things to them. why is it important for me now as a Muslim? Like, why is it fundamental to my faith? It's so fundamental that Allah made it a pillar. Or it's not important.
It's important. I mean, they protect us.
Okay.
You know,
So there's a level of personal involvement that's there. 100%. Good. What else?
They're recording our
Accountability. 100%. Right? There's a level of personal accountability that's there. The ones who are going to ask us questions in our graves are who?
The angels.
We're the angels. Right? So again, there's a very interpersonal involvement that we have with these beings, and that's why it's so important for us to know them. The first thing is that they carry revelation. The one, so there is a khilaf on this, right? There's a difference of opinion. Is Jibreel the lone angel who brought Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Quran? And many scholars say yes. It was only Jibreel alayhi salam that brought him.
Prophet Muhammad.
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or even other prophets. Meaning that his job is what? Is revelation. Right? Whether it be early revelation or whether it be to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is the most important thing. Number one, that they carry revelation. They witness our deeds, like we had said. That they bring mercy and forgiveness. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that the one who goes out and seeks knowledge, right? The one who goes and learns the religion, he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes his path to paradise easy. And he said to the point that whenever there's a gathering of knowledge, the angels come and they descend on that gathering and they cover that gathering with their wings. And when we think of covering with wings, there are two things that we think of. Why does a mother bird cover its eggs with its wings?
It's to shield it from
Protection. And out of what?
Out of love.
Out of love and mercy. Right? This is what the angels are doing, right? So when they descend and they bring that love, they bring that mercy, they bring that protection, that is for those people in those spaces and places that are seeking and learning about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's religion. It increases our awareness. Right? Again, something that's really important. If we understand that they're the ones that are recording, we make note to be like, oh man, I don't want the angels to record this, right? Or the opposite holds true too. It's like, man, Allah knows how much I really, how much I really wanted to do this, or how much I was trying to do that, and I just couldn't. I hope that gets recorded, right? Like, so I think having that sense of awareness is something that's really important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, Inna alaykum lahafidhin kiraman katibin ya'lamuna ma taf'alun. Yet there are guardians watching over you, noble recorders who know what you do. And here, we know kiraman katibin to be the ones that record our deeds. I'm sorry, yes?
So, is it true that angels don't enter like bathrooms? I heard you're not supposed to speak in the bathroom because angels don't come inside.
So the thing is, I think some of those things are like metaphorical, in the sense that, okay, I don't want them to record the sin. Let me go lie in the bathroom, right? Let me go. It's, you know what I mean? Like with your cell phone, you could like go steal, you could lie, you could do a lot of things, right? It's more a sense of like, okay, the angels will shield themselves from you when you're naked. The angels won't enter the bathroom. The angels avoid someone whose breath smells bad, right? Because like, they had just eaten or whatever. So I think most of those hadith, when they're talking in that way, it's just for us to increase in our shyness. That's all. Or as a way of telling us that these places are not blessed places, so try not to spend too much time in them. And Allah knows best. Like I said, I can't imagine me like, oh, he's going to the bathroom again? Okay. Let's close the books. Like, where do I see the signs of angels in my life? Maybe in a crisis, for sure. In what way?
Like there's an accident right in front of you.
Yeah.
And everything gets damaged.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
Subhanallah.
The sun,
Yeah.
the sun and the moon, and
Oh, like the angels have some control and say in some of those things? Sure. The sun and the moon less so, right? I think they're independent creations that don't really need the angels, but the rain for sure, right? The rain, when crops are poor, right? These are things for us to keep in mind. Something that we all experience, like death, right? I have a spicy question at the end. I'll leave that one. But yeah, I mean, there are times like, subhanAllah, have you guys ever seen those videos of like people, there's like a car, like the person's like crossing a road and like the car crash is like all around them? And I'm just like, yo, there's something supernatural happened here, right? There has to be an angel. And I think those moments are important because it's not like, okay, well, if the angels helped over here, how come they don't help over there? I mean, whatever, they're angels, right? They can do it, they do whatever they want, and they only act how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells them, you know, and fulfills that. But I think that it is something that's definitely really, really interesting. I think, you know, especially when we do our prayers, one of the things that we also forget is like when we do taslim, who are we also doing taslim to, right? The angels that are recording our deeds. Hoping to be like, yo, you got that, right? You know what I mean? So the revelation is something that definitely we're all involved in. This idea of protection, inspiration, right? We want to do more good deeds because we hope that they get recorded. So we're just, this is just a closing dua. Here is where we say, Allahumma ajalna min alladhina nahfadhu al-malaika wa taghshahum ar-rahmah. That Allah make us from amongst those surrounded by angels, covered with your mercy, and remembered by you among those who are near you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, and may He Azza wa Jal allow us and to be from those who are covered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy through His angels. Ameen. Any questions? Yeah.
So they don't reproduce, they don't age?
No.
They don't...
Yeah. None of those things. So I can share my hot take. I don't know if you guys are interested.
Yeah.
I think Khadr was an angel.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Hot take. I want to throw that out there. I have my reasons, and the reason that I kind of took that position was my kids asked me one day, they're like Baba, like how's it okay he just like killed a kid? And I was like, I've heard other explanations, like, you know, well, right, it's like, no, I've heard different explanations and that, okay, well, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replaced the child with someone better, but I was like, yeah, I get all that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not questioning the reasoning, like, on why this child was killed. I'm just more, yeah, it's the action more that is like, it bothers me in the sense, like, there's like nobody else around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like people just kind of running away and be like, yo, this guy just killed this kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would imagine more commotion, right? I wouldn't imagine like, oh, is this just like, it's like drilling a hole in a boat or rebuilding a wall, right? And killing a kid. It just seemed like really out of place. And my kids were like, they asked me like, well, why do you feel that? I was like, well, the angel of death takes souls all the time and we don't really ask any questions, right? So, Allahu Alam. Like I said, it's just my personal hot take. Yeah, Allah knows best. Any questions? Yes? Yeah.
Is there only one angel working, or is it
Yeah.
angels with that same title?
I think that there are others, wallahu a'lam. I'm not 100% sure. But I will say this, even if there's only one, time works differently for beings who kind of work outside time. Does that make sense? So I think either or would be very reasonable. You know, whether the fact that he had, like, does the angel of death have like smaller angels of death? Possible, right? I don't think it's very far-fetched. Also, that if you have a being that functions outside of time, doesn't matter when people die. You know what I mean? So, any other questions? Yes.
Is it true, like they're fans of ours? Like if you're a good person, they kind of
Yes.
know who you are?
Yeah. So there's a hadith wali, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that whoever takes a wali of mine as an enemy, then I have declared war on him. And he keeps doing deeds that I obligate on him, and so that I love him. And when he does the extra deeds, I actually love him. And when I love him, I announce to all of the angels that I love so-and-so. And those angels, they descend to the earth, and they tell everyone on the earth that Allah loves so-and-so. So it's something that they definitely care. Whenever they hear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaking about a particular slave, they themselves will begin to love that slave, and they'll be like a fan for him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He goes on to say that because they spread the love of this individual so much, that person actually becomes beloved by others. Any other questions? No? Okay. All right. So next week, inshallah, we're going to be talking about their nature, their ranks, and their roles in more detail. It was a very superficial discussion today, but inshallah, we're going to have a more detailed discussion next week, بإذن ta'ala. But we'll stop there. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu ala khayri khalqin, nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam wa jazakum khair.